Research consistently shows that trust and emotional resonance drive financial decision making far more than product features or performance alone. Harvard Business School research has shown that people make emotionally driven decisions first and rationalize them second. Behavioral finance has repeatedly demonstrated that investors are not purely rational actors.
I can't wait to introduce you to Knowing Me, Knowing You, the Know Me podcast where the future of financial advice starts with discovery. We're bringing you candid conversations with top industry leaders, innovators, and behavioral finance experts, exploring how wealth managers can deepen client relationships, personalize advice at scale, and drive real business growth. Because clients don't just want financial plans, they want to feel understood. They want to be known. Stay tuned, subscribe, and get ready to transform the way you connect with clients. Know Me, transforming discovery into growth.
Hi, and today I want to talk about something that everyone in wealth management is talking about: organic growth. The industry is under enormous pressure. Fee compression, aging advisors, rising client expectations, AI disruption, PE-backed growth targets, and an abnormal focus on valuation versus creating actual value. And a massive generational wealth transfer is already underway. We're talking about it. Growth matters. But here's what I keep hearing from advisors and executives across the industry. Most of what firms are doing for growth is not working nearly as well as they had hoped. I overwhelmingly hear the same story. Buying leads from what I'll call lead factories like Smart Asset, Zoe, Data Align, and others works for some advisors. And it is quite an expensive proposition for those that do use them. For many, it doesn't really come through on the promise of conversion that they had hoped. Certainly not at any percentage above 5 or so. And increasingly, advisors are frustrated with AI-generated outbound emails that are built off of scraped LinkedIn and web-based data. It's creating generic personalization tactics that don't really feel authentic. Prospects see right through it, and not only they don't respond, they don't even open the emails. They don't trust it. I get those emails too. And frankly, I don't read them. I can immediately see when they're written by AI. Most outreach today still feels fundamentally transactional and product-based. Here's what I'm selling. Here's my performance. Here's my process. Here's why you should book time with me. None of it is making prospects actually feel understood. What you're trying to do is fish without the bait. You're not giving them meaningful value, and therefore, you're not converting as much as you would like. And as you already know, for those growing their businesses, converting matters more than leads. Pipelines are full, but net new assets remain kind of slim. Research consistently shows that trust and emotional resonance drive financial decision-making far more than product features or performance alone. Harvard Business School research has shown that people make emotionally driven decisions first and rationalize them second. Behavioral finance has repeatedly demonstrated that investors are not purely rational actors. Fear, identity, values, social comparison, and emotional readiness heavily influence financial behavior. Edelman's Trust Barometer continues to show that trust has become one of the most important variables in purchasing decisions across industries, especially financial services. Yet, most prospecting in wealth management still treats people like data sets instead of humans, and prospects feel it. One advisor recently told me, people don't want to fill out checkbox forms anymore. They don't want to push paperwork from one place to the other just to serve the advisor. Another advisor said, The problem is the industry keeps trying to sell people something instead of understanding why something matters to them. That's the real issue. Most growth systems optimize for volume. Very, very few of them optimize for trust. And that's becoming increasingly dangerous in an AI saturated world where generic outreach is becoming almost infinitely scalable. Ironically, as AI grows, authentic human understanding becomes more valuable, not less. That's where we've been spending our time at Nomi. What we realized is that firms already have endless financial data. They know balances, products, performance, assets, demographics, but they have almost no structured understanding of what prospects actually care about, what motivates them, what they fear, what they want their money to do for them in their lives, and whether they're even emotionally ready to begin an advisory relationship. Readiness matters enormously.
What if financial planning wasn't just about numbers, but about you, your values, your goals, your vision for the future? Nomi is transforming client discovery for wealth managers, going beyond assets and risk scores to uncover what truly matters. With behavioral insights and real-time data, Nomi helps advisors personalize advice, build deeper connections, and grow their businesses. Because the best financial decisions start with knowing you. Discover the future of client engagement at nomi.com.
The biggest problem in prospect conversion often is poor timing, lack of trust, emotional alignment, and relevance. So instead of building another lead generation tool, we approached the problem differently. What if prospecting itself became valuable for the prospect? What if every first interaction with a wealth management firm actually helped someone better understand themselves? What if instead of interrogating prospects for account statements and asset data, advisors invited them into meaningful discussions about their future? This is what Nomi is doing digitally. We're creating a behavioral lead magnet, a trusted, gamified, behavioral science backed experience that helps people clarify what wealth means to them, what they want more of in life, what's holding them back, and what kind of financial future they actually want to create. Importantly, it doesn't feel like paperwork. It feels engaging, reflective, human, modern. We deliberately designed it to feel more like consumer technology than financial onboarding, because this is how people want to share information right now. Not through static PDFs, not through intake forms, surveys, questionnaires, but through interactive, personalized, psychologically safe experiences that give them value immediately. One advisor told us, "My clients actually enjoy this." Another said, "I've never seen prospects engage with something at these completion rates." And another said, "This helps us have the conversation we actually wanted to have all along." It matters because the process itself becomes part of the conversion engine. Behavioral science shows that when people articulate goals and reflect on motivations and imagine future outcomes, they become more psychologically prepared to take action. In other words, the act of self-discovery accelerates the commitment. That's one of the reasons that we're seeing strong engagement and conversion behavior. What's really interesting is what happens on the advisor side. Nomi doesn't just share personality insights. We identify behavioral signals around readiness, emotional drivers, decision style, motivations, and friction points directly from the prospect's own language and behavior. We help advisors know who to prioritize, who's actually likely to convert, what concerns may need addressing, and exactly how to communicate in ways that resonate authentically with that one specific person. Instead of walking into a first exploratory meeting blind, advisors walk in understanding what matters most, where trust breaks down, how this person thinks about money, and what kind of conversation is likely to move the relationship forward. They're not guessing. This isn't a generic discovery script. We're not forcing advisors to become psychologists. We're just helping them become better at human understanding at scale. And what's fascinating is that advisors are increasingly realizing it's not only a better growth strategy, it's a better client and prospect experience. Because people increasingly expect personalization everywhere in their lives. Netflix understands them, Spotify understands them, TikTok understands them, their airlines understand them. But most financial onboarding experiences still feel cold, repetitive, and product centric. The gap is becoming unsustainable, especially as younger generations inherit wealth and increasingly expect experiences that feel personalized, emotionally intelligent, and digitally native. Ultimately, I think future winners in wealth management will not simply be the firms with the best products or even the best AI tools. Everyone will have AI tools. Everyone already does have AI tools. It's going to be the firms that understand humans, the firms that can scale authentic trust, scale personalization, scale emotional intelligence, scale meaningful conversations. They're not going to do this by replacing advisors, but they're going to help advisors become more relevant, more human, and more effective in a world overloaded with noise. And that is the future that we're building at Nomi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for joining us on the Knowing Me, Knowing You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Your support helps us bring more transformative conversations to you. Until next time, keep discovering, keep growing, and remember, you're in control of your own financial story. Follow us for more conversations on financial confidence, self-discovery, and the future of money.